Okay, that was fun. So I have some questions. I was gonna see if you guys could tell me one thing that you thought each classroom did very well.
I like their organization of the groups on the board, so everybody knows where they're going, they know what group they're in, they know what task they're supposed to be doing each rotation.
I would say their task cards really showed that they have practiced those from the beginning to now, and they know exactly how they operate, and they flow well, and they make it very organized.
To me. How that, like, I didn't understand it, but the kids knew exactly what it was, what those acronyms were.
They're just like responses to their different tasks were great. Those text maps and different like brain pop quizzes. It's really good.
Okay, can you tell me maybe one thing that you saw they didn't do or could improve on in some way? I think they all did a really great job, so that's a tough one.
I saw more discourse in Abby's than it seemed like in the other rooms, so maybe, and they may have that, but I just didn't see it in the time we were in there. And I know, like, they all had little timers, except maybe Rebecca, up at the top of their screens, but they weren't always going.
Yeah.
And so I was just not sure, do they just kind of look at that, like, I know Rebecca Mann just said, okay, this group, so I didn't know if they used those timers.
Well, I noticed that in Miss Cross's room, and I was in there right at 1:10 at a transition time, and then her timer went off behind her. So I wonder if maybe that was easier for her to use, or I didn't get a chance to ask her about that, but I did notice that as well.
The group work, a lot of the kids, there wasn't a lot of talking when I was by them. And I asked, one of the groups, what are you guys doing? How are you working together? And they're like, oh, well, we just write this stuff down and then we share it when we go with Miss Cross. So, and that was just in their room, and maybe in the other groups they just weren't talking at that point in time. But I would have liked to see more discussion.
And
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Ashley.
I noticed in Miss Mann's room that they were almost all on computers and nothing hands-on or tactile. Maybe they were differentiated as far as what they were watching and what they were doing, but I didn't see a lot of like different activities going on for them.
And I would just, one of the things we're working is just getting that discourse going and really those higher levels of thinking. And while there was some high level of thinking going, it's again that discourse that we're talking about our thinking to one another. And so that's just one of our growth opportunities. I think their clear goals and expectations, their differentiation, non-static activities, systems of accountability, all of those were really good and really solid. And even the activities seemed meaningful and rigorous, but adding that social discourse would just help kids think.
Okay, I'm gonna skip that one, so we already said it. Okay, did you guys observe anything that you'd like to bring to your classroom that you don't already do? I saw, I really was interested in, I've used Brain Pop in the past, but I've never used it with the standards and never used it to assign to students, so I really liked how Mrs. Mann did that.
Yeah, I'm interested to look into that more, to use it kind of as a follow-up or a review.
And not as a replacement, but that adding it on, and then they were really engaged with that, I felt like, those short videos.
And she said you could go back and see how they did on the quizzes after they watch it, so I'm interested in checking that out some more myself.
I liked when they had the groups listed at the top of the boards, because I think it's probably really easy to change then as people move through their skill sets. So I like that and the way they had them right out there for everyone.
I liked how the groups moved together. Like if they were listening to reading, they looked like they were all listening to reading, or if they were doing word work, they were all doing word work, and they were all moving together. Because I think I've seen it so many different ways, and so that I think that is good because it keeps them accountable.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I mean, I liked how Rebecca had the desk set up so she could see
Yes,
everyone's screens.
that was brilliant.
That's great.
Okay, so we're gonna end today, but thank you guys for letting me do this with you and learn with you guys. And hope you guys had a great time.